Okay, so we have come to the conclusion of Summit 2022. And for the stalwart among you who are still here, thank you for spending 3 full days with us. This is the time where we are able to say our thank yous, and there are so many that we can't say thank you to everybody, so forgive us if we do not. But first of all, I want to acknowledge and say thank you to the steering committee that put this event together. They worked so hard and so long. And we also want to thank the amazing event coordinator who put this whole surround around us, got you where you needed to be, fed you, made you happy, made the magic happen. Sheila Weiner and Kate Caffrey, thank you so much. The people who actually made everything happen, made all of this IT happen for us so flawlessly and so beautifully. Mike Mankiewicz, Russ Burkhart, and the entire crew backstage. We'd walk backstage, I don't know if you heard us yelling, "Voice of God, where's the voice of God?" And then they would do their thing for you. So thanks everybody, wherever you are back there. Thank you all for being such amazing team members. I also want to thank my Jones Day family. Jones Day was a supporter of this event, and so many of my colleagues are here today, and you've met many of them. I want to specifically thank Heidi Rozier, who is my assistant, Chuck Molenberg, who is my other half, and Amy Zwicky, who you all know. If you got emails from her at 3:30 and 5:30 in the morning, it's not because it was a time zone issue. Amy, thank you so much. And most of all, we want to thank all of you. Because as I think you know now, and as we've been so amazed to watch in the hallways and at the dinners, amazing things have happened this week. And several of you have asked me, "Oh, are you so tired? Are you exhausted from doing this?" And I'm not. I am so energized by watching the connections that have happened here, just this electric connection between such talented, brilliant, passionate people. We've had so many conversations with you about, I know this person who has to be here next year. I want to bring them back. The summit, the power of the summit was real this year. You made the summit real for us this year. What we dreamed of for it to be, you are already. And so we could not be more excited and more thrilled and more grateful to all of you for being so extraordinary, for the work you do, for committing to do it together, for committing to make the personal investment in one another that will really make a difference and move this field. So I'm going to say a little quote. Chuck and Heidi and some other people in the room know this is above my desk. And there's another one that's above my desk too. One is from Margaret Mead, and it's often said, but it's worth saying here. Never doubt that a small group of committed individuals can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that it ever has. And the other quote that's above my desk, Barry Curzon will know is familiar, which is, whenever possible, be kind, and it is always possible. So let me leave those words with you and turn it over to the other person who I have to thank from the bottom of my heart, my co-chair, Mark Nordenberg.
Not knowing whether it's appropriate or not, let me begin with what you may consider to be a frightening thought. At lunch, I leaned over to Laura, knowing that our planned final keynote speaker was not going to be here to speak. And I said, well, who's going to be the keynote speaker? And she pointed back at me. I rejected that assignment out of the goodness of my heart. I thought we wanted to close this summit on a high note and wanted you leaving with a smile on your face, and I didn't think that was the way to do it. But I didn't say no because I'm a shirker. There are people who seem to move through life believing that if you had a great morning, that entitles you to take a nap in the afternoon. I don't think anybody has ever put me in that category, and I'm sure no one has put Laura in that category. And after our work experiences with you, we can say the same thing about the entire Eradicate Hate Global Summit community. There is another quote I want to share with you, and it came from Jonas Salk, who led the Pitt faculty team that developed the vaccine that won this country's war against polio. And what Dr. Salk said is that the reward for work well done is the opportunity to do more. And that is the way we feel about it, and I now know that is the way that you feel about it. From the moment that Laura came to me in November of 2018 with the idea for this summit, a lot of work has gone on. And a lot of that work came from people in this room. It began as we were preparing for the summit last October, and it continued after we had moved through that event and were planning for what we were going to do in September of this year. And as Laura has said, there were two things that really made us feel great. The first was the general reaction of everyone that this had been a distinctive, impactful experience and something we should keep going. But the second thing was that the we pronoun in that sentence was very inclusive because people weren't just saying, you ought to keep going. They were saying, we ought to keep it going, and then saying, we'll be back. And by the way, here are some other people who could really make contributions to improving on what we did last year. And now, probably starting about breakfast time tomorrow morning, we'll be thinking about how we can further improve in 2023. So there will be more formal outreach from us, I'm sure. But as you're kind of thinking back on the last 3 days and you're collecting your thoughts, if you do have suggestions, record them now before they leave your mind and share them with us because we really are in this to do it as well as it possibly can be done. And we know that we have no monopoly on good ideas. In fact, what we have seen is that your contributions through your work and through your suggestions really have been a force in making this summit what it is today. And to go back to what I said a moment ago, though hundreds of people have contributed to the summit, it was Laura who had the idea shortly after the attack at the Tree of Life Synagogue. And in the years that have passed since then, almost 4 years, there is no one who has been more determined, no one who has been more tireless, no one who has been more creative than Laura has herself. And so as we part company, I do again say from the bottom of my heart, thanks to all of you for being here. Thanks for all of the many ways in which you have made this summit something special. And thanks in particular to our fearless leader, Laura Ellsworth, the person to whom no one can say no.